What's up, everybody? Last week we got Season 2 of Black Ops 7 and Warzone, so of course with the new season comes a newly shifted meta. Today we're going to be talking about the close range meta. We talked about the long range meta yesterday. I'll link that video down below, and also linked down below is my Twitch if you want to come hang out live while I'm playing Warzone or Apex or COD or new single player games or new multiplayer games or whatever I'm playing. Twitch is linked down below. Also linked down below will be my Twitter, my gaming Instagram, TikTok, and single player channel. And if you're into cars, my car Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube channel. Support here, there, anywhere. Always appreciated so much. And we're going to go through loadouts as usual, and then we're going to jump over to the COD community comparator, because we'll talk about why we're using that instead of true game data when we get over there. But let's go ahead and jump into the close range. Okay, so starting off at number 3, we have the Sturmwolf. The Sturmwolf took over the meta at the end of last season. Well, in the whole mid-season, it was the meta. It got nerfed, mostly range more than anything, but it got nerfed going into Season 2. Still very good. Arguably number 3 on this list. Some people might put other things on here, like the Razor, the Koget. I'm forgetting something else, but some people might put some other things on this list, but we're leaving the Sturmwolf on here. It's very easy to shoot. We have the Lethal Tools ELO. If you're going to use an optic, that's the one I would recommend for one times. But it's preference, and also a lot of people go iron sights. I don't like a lot of the iron sights on the SMGs for BO7 weapons, so I run an optic on the Sturmwolf. Then we have the Hawker series muzzle, give you the vertical recoil control. Redwell Shadex suppressor is definitely another option, but I don't like hurting damage range on SMGs too much. And then there's nothing that gives you horizontal recoil control. You can go monolithic suppressor too, but I don't like hurting the ADS a lot on SMGs either. But it does give you a lot more bullet velocity and damage range. So I go with the Hawker Series 45. Another option too is to drop that and go with the recoil springs. But for barrel, I go Peregrine barrel. Just get the straight damage range. If you want damage range and bullet velocity, you can go lethal conflux barrel, but bullet velocity is not as important on SMGs. And if you're using it as a sniper support, you probably want to go with the Regnant barrel to help the mid damage range and the bullet velocity. But just as an SMG, I go Peregrine barrel. For underbarrels, Envoy foregrip gives you horizontal recoil control, and it gives you sprint movement speed and movement speed. If you just want a lot of horizontal recoil control, you can go with the lateral precision grip. If you need a little bit of horizontal recoil control, that's what the Envoy foregrip's for, while giving you movement speed. If you don't need any recoil control, especially if you want to mix up like the muzzle, this is the way I like it. You can go all movement speed here with the quick step foregrip, but I go with the Envoy foregrip for me. And then the Roar drum. Now, it hurts ADS kind of a lot, and it gives you 60. The extended mag only gives you 48. So if you're running smaller squad sizes, absolutely go extended mag 1. But for trios and quads, I would go with the Roar drum. It does suck to hurt your aim down sight and your movement speed, but those 12 extra rounds can really make a difference. And you get some of them, and you get the movement speed back in the Envoy foregrip. So, you don't get the ADS speed back, which sucks for an SMG. But some changes you can make too are, you can drop, if you don't mind the recoil, you can drop like the Hawker series and go with like aim down sight speed. You want to get that back. Sanctum speed grip. You want sprint to fire because you're aggressive. Go LTI Pelage grip. Some people like the Celine Rover grip. If it gave you straight sprint to fire, I would like it. But it gives you all the other to fire speeds, so not a fan. Stocks for more movement speed. You can also go with the itinerant light stock. Gives you hip fire, and strafing movement speeds, and sprint movement speeds. You can also get some aim down sight and aim walking speed with the Corpus X3 stock. If you go into buildings and ADS walk around. We don't really care about the recoil stock too much, especially if it hurts the aim down sight, which we don't want to do for SMGs. And like I said, you can also switch out the muzzle to go with the recoil springs if you want both horizontal and vertical recoil control. But you get more vertical recoil control with the Hawker series. I don't think this has too much horizontal recoil in my opinion. Moving on to number 2 is the new Rev 46. Some people have this at number 1. It's got a very fast fire rate though, so it just destroys ammo. It just absolutely kills your ammo. but it doesn't have too much recoil built this way, and the movement speed feels pretty good. So we can do some changes here, but I have the Lethal Tools ELO. Now, I think an optic is necessary for the Rev 46 because these are some of the worst iron sights I've ever seen. And then I have the Hawker series again for the same reason. The Caudal target barrel gives you the damage range. If you want both damage range and bullet velocity, you can go with the banded mixed barrel, but it does not give you much of either. And then, of course, you want to go with the Komodo drum mag. It gives you 55, where the extended mag 1 gives you 45. Once again, smaller squad sizes, solos, duos, go extended mag 1. Otherwise, go extended mag 2. And then I have the recoil sync unit, which are the recoil springs on here. It gives you both the horizontal and vertical recoil. I don't think there's as much horizontal. Otherwise, I would go with like the Sapper Guard hand stop, which you can do. This is a change you can make, and it gives you extra movement speed. Those are two options for that. If you just want pure horizontal recoil control, you can go Force Stabilizer hand stop. But this is the way I'm running it, although I'm not really running it, to be honest. I'm running what number 1 is. I just love number 1, and I was waiting for it to be meta. And number 1, I have the Carbon 57. Now, this overall has the most recoil on this list, so we built this a lot more for recoil than anything else, but it's also got a great TTK. It's the best where SMG TTKs really matter, and it has the cleanest iron sights, maybe of any SMG. It's certainly up there in Black Ops 7, so we didn't run an optic on this one. So we have the Redwell Shade X suppressor, and I don't like hurting damage range or bullet velocity, but this is how you give it almost no recoil, this build, and you get vertical and horizontal recoil control there. I have the Voss Radiant Barrel for that recoil stabilization, plus you get aim down sight. It does suck to not go with the Rockley Barrel and get damage range. That's a change you can make, but I wanted to make this thing absolutely no recoil, and I think it's just a laser beam. Where I gave up some recoil control was here to get some of that movement speed, sprint move speed, but you still get horizontal recoil control with the Sapper Guard hand stop. Once again, you want full horizontal recoil control, go lateral precision grip. If you want full movement, go quick step foregrip. Then I have the Puck 57 grip for aim down sight speed, just to get some of that back. And then I have accelerated recoil system for the horizontal vertical recoil control to make this thing like absolutely no recoil. The magazine's a weird situation. So you have this Bowen sideline extended, which puts you up to 60 instead of 40. But it really hurts the aim down sight, sprint to fire, and reload quickness. You can put in this Bowen sideline extended mag and get rid of, I would probably get rid of the accelerated recoil system for a magazine. But it's got 40 rounds built in already. And so that kind of is up to you. I would say I run out of ammo kind of quickly, but it's a much slower fire rate than the Rev. So I think you can make this change here. But that is definitely a preference, right? To go Bowen extended mag. I just like that a mag is already 40 built in and not 25. But I would get rid of like the accelerated recoil system for the springs. I don't want to get rid of the Puck 57 grip because you're losing the ADS speed, and then you and this thing kind of ADS is a little slow, so I like to keep the Puck 57, but you can also make that change if you need the recoil help and you want to go with that magazine. But that's my close range ranking. If you're just here for the loadouts and the ranking, thank you so much. I do appreciate you stopping by, but we're going to jump over to the Community Comparator and just look at some things really quickly. So we're over here on the Warzone Stats Comparator, and we mentioned the long range that we were using this for that video over True Game Data because he was missing the M8A1's auto barrel. Well, this time the Carbon 57 did not have the Redwell Shade X suppressor on it. Tony's very busy with some other projects and car stuff, so you know he's normally on top of things, little behind, no big deal. So if you look, the Sturmwolf, it's not really competing. It's just the third best option. It's not really competing, so we're not going to focus on the Sturmwolf too much. The Carbon 57 up to 12 meters has the best TTK. The Rev 46 takes over from 12 to 15, and it's a decent gap. And so you have to decide how important that gap is to you. But if you're aggressive and you're up close a lot, the carbon is definitely going to be the way you want to go from a TTK standpoint. Because then from 15 to 20-ish, then they're so close, it's a bullets difference. And it matters less. Once again, we have combination shots and 100% on here. And then it really drops off, but now you're getting into AR range. And so some people would say this drop off because, hey, you want to take it to 30. Then, here we are at 23, and it's still a big difference. And then here we are at 25. So if you're using a sniper support, there is this gap here, but then it gets pretty close. But most SMGs are really being used inside of 20. So we go down here, ADS speed, the carbon, with the build I have, the best ADS speed, it's not even close. So you can't sacrifice some of it for the larger mag. The bullet velocity for the Rev is the best. The carbon does fall pretty far behind in the bullet velocity. But fire speed, the rounds per minute, the Rev is 1154. So like I said, you burn through ammo, so you have to have that extended mag. Where the carbon's 857, which is about where I like it. So the extended mag is not as important, although that 20 rounds does make a difference. I just like that it's got already a built-in 40. And so that's up to you. But 857 means you're not burning ammo near as much as the Rev. Mobility standpoint, the carbon is tied with the Rev, and they're fairly behind the Sturmwolf from a sprint speed. From a movement speed, the carbon overall, its basic movement is the best. From a crouch movement speed, the carbon's slow, so it's up and down. And ADS movement speed, the Rev is the best. But sprint speed, Sturmwolf is number one. Base movement speed, which I think is more important, because if you're sprinting, you're probably rotating. You should have your knife out or your melee weapon. Goes to the carbon. So recoil for gun kick, the carbon's down here at the bottom. I don't think it feels that bad. The horizontal, it's at the bottom too, and the vertical, it's in the middle. The Rev has the most vertical. I don't think it feels that bad, and up close, I'm not as concerned. And then I do have the 40 on the magazine size. If you wanted to make a magazine change, so let's get rid of, since it's got the best ADS speed, we'll get rid of, because this does recoil stabilization. So we'll get rid of the Puck 57 grip and go with the extended mag and apply it. And now you look at 80. Now we have, it says 50. The game says 60. But now you look at where's ADS speed. ADS speed, the carbon's still number one. So it's really up to you. You can go extended mag here. I've been really liking it and how aggressive it feels with just running the 40 and just having to reposition to reload. So that's just the way that I've preferred it. I've thought it felt really good with that really aggressive ADS. And those are my close range rankings. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like COD content or Apex content or game reviews. That's what we do here. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see it first. And let me know in the comments down below what you think of my meta rankings and my loadouts, where I'm right and wrong and smart and dumb. But thank you again so much for watching. I will see you on Verdansk and Haven's Hollow. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.